Zambia has been hit with an outbreak of army worms that are wiping out fields of the staple maize crop, posing a threat to the nation's food security. The black-striped caterpillars can appear between December and May as armies of the pest spanning kilometers and as dense as 1,100 per square meter and march through fields, destroying entire crops. Army worms and other pests have already attacked at least half of the country's 10 provinces, according to the Zambia National Farmers Union. Agriculture makes up almost 10% of the economy, and about half of all employed people work on farms, mainly growing maize. Crop damage on the Copperbelt province by the time of making this documentary had reached particularly alarming levels.
For us, the way we've understood, this starts from a butterfly, an insect, a pest like butterfly, which lays eggs, and those eggs will then develop into moths, what they call moths. Those moths then will become into these same pests. So depending on what type of pest it is, you can either have armyworms or indeed you can have stalk borers. So the current situation that we are all informed of, including our colleagues from ZARI, are indicating that the one that is there is the armyworms. But of course they are not ruling out the stalk borers as well. So that is the background initially I can give. I'm not a very technical person, but we know that our friends from ZARI can do a better job. But we're just trying to give the public the kind of picture of where armyworms come from. So that's the background. It's a butterfly that lays these eggs, which develop into moths, and then the insects are developed from there. And it can either be armyworms or stalk borers, and then start attacking your maize field or whatever crops that you have.
Armyworms are actually caterpillars that come from a moth, and I'm trying to use the layman's language that can be understood by everyone as much as possible. And this caterpillar actually is the one which is much of a threat to our cropping systems. The caterpillar feeds on grass generally, and there are various forms of armyworms. In this country we have experienced the African armyworms before, and those were very easy to identify. They were very easy to even take care of, because you simply dig a ditch, because the worms themselves are fond of marching across the field. Once they've literally finished eating one plant and the other, they move on to the next field.
Yeah, definitely the issue of armyworms is a crisis for the nation, and one that needs very serious attention on the part of government. I think one of the key challenges that we have noted is that in dealing with this situation is that we have been more reactive as being more proactive in dealing with this issue. One of the things that you hear even many commentators is that of early detection, which we have not done very well. But apart from early detection, it's the issue of sequencing of funding, and this is something that CSPR has been talking about for a very long time, where extension services funding comes after input services, thereby incapacitating the services that the extension services are supposed to be providing. Because the extension services are supposed to guide the farmers in terms of what crop to be able to farm for that particular season, but also what kind of farming methods, and also allow for early detection in cases of pests like we have now with the armyworms.
Some of the provinces affected include Eastern, Central, Lusaka, Copperbelt and Northern provinces. Some districts have not only fallen victim to armyworms, but stalk borers and bollworms too. Over 100,000 hectares have been affected so far, according to the government's Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit.